Hey there, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the Political Deep Dive this evening. My name is Dave Valente, and this evening we're talking about politics in Pennsylvania. And my guest tonight is the current, until 2 weeks from now, chair of the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a unique state in that we have a large number of libertarians elected in the state. We're going to talk about how that happened, a look back at his time as LP chair, LP Pennsylvania chair, and what got him into the Libertarian Party, and look ahead to his run for the United States Senate. Please welcome Steve Scheetz. Steve, thank you for coming on, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Man. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience. Give us a little bit about a bit of your background.
Well, my name is Steve Scheetz. I'm the chairman of the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania, at least until about 2 weeks from now. And as it stands, I'm just really excited and grateful for all the work that has been done by our team, by the people. This past tenure of mine, which lasted for 2 years, we had the most amazing team, and we've all worked together so hard to make things happen and to make things really amazing in Pennsylvania. Part of what we did was we elected the largest number of libertarians in the nation. And, well, we raised a lot of money. We increased membership by a dramatic amount, and we've just been working so hard to try and make our party the best it possibly can be, and we've been succeeding.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania has been a model that a lot of states should be following. Not only with your electoral success, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but also the numbers that you cited. Again, we'll get into those later as well. Give me a little bit about the politics in Pennsylvania. It's what's the dominant party there in the state, and talk about some of the things like what the Democrats and Republicans do to keep you guys off the ballot, and what happened in the last election.
So a lot of people believe that Pennsylvania is a purple state, meaning that a lot of people are, there's a lot of Republicans, a lot of Democrats that are in power. And, as far as what keeps us on the ballot, Valente and Scheetz on screen together. Thank you, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
So this past year, they were both really doing their best to keep us off the ballot, right? So first things first, 2020, we got stuck with a lot of people. I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of messages, and I need to really shut that off. At the end of it, yeah, right. So, all right, so 2020, we did a lawsuit, right? And the lawsuit was basically saying, look, we had this shutdown, and this shutdown kept us from going out and petitioning, right? So we couldn't get the signatures we needed to get on the ballot. We needed this absurd number of signatures to get on the ballot, and we really need some relief from this. So the Democratic Party, right? Not just the governor. We asked the governor for relief. He didn't say a word, right? Then we sent him a letter saying, well, if you don't do something about this, we are going to do something about this. And he said, well, we'll get back to you. And even before he said, we'll get back to you, we started initiating the idea of the lawsuit, because we knew for a fact that when you say, look, we'll get back to you at some point.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're
11th hour.
Seriously, So we talked to our attorneys, and our attorneys said, well, this is what we can do. So we went after it, and we agreed, along with the Green Party and the Constitution Party, to spend $6,000 to initiate this lawsuit against the oppressive signature requirements in Pennsylvania, especially given the lockdowns and everything else.
Yeah.
And what we wound up getting the Democratic Party saying, and they said this to our Eastern vice chair. They literally, this is a quote. COVID-19 is only dangerous in your opinion. Therefore, you absolutely positively should be going out and getting signatures from people. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. And the judge, who was a Republican, agreed.
Wow.
And there's a lot of politics involved with that, but who cares? At the end of the day, we were one state out of 7 where the similar circumstances said, you guys are going to get relief. Pennsylvania, no, you're not getting relief. And not us, not the Greens, not the Constitution Party. It is what it is. So here we are. We are 3 weeks away from final turn-in. And we have about 1,000 signatures total from like the very beginning till up to that point. And some of them I got, some of them other people got, in various special elections, wherever we could get signatures. All right, so we had 3.5 weeks or so to get the balance of 10,000 signatures. And we had this amazing paid drive that was run by our Eastern Vice Chair. We had over 200 volunteer petitioners out there collecting signatures. And it's probably the most excitement, the most energy that we've had for something like that. It's a petition drive. Petition drives suck. Nobody wants to go out and collect signatures. It's a little job, but
it's a pandemic.
When we came out with the statement that we got crushed in the lawsuit, everybody's like, oh no. We're going to make sure that there's ballot access in Pennsylvania. And my God, everybody came out and everybody worked so hard. And we actually wound up getting on the ballot in Pennsylvania with our statewide. And it was just the most amazing thing. A lot of the down ballot candidates, myself included, didn't get on the ballot. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Mine, I needed 3,400 signatures valid to get on the ballot. And when you're the state party chair, you absolutely have to make sure that your state candidates get on the ballot. So I stopped what I was doing and just did what I could to make sure that the state party candidates got on the ballot. And that's what you got to do.
And the Green Party did not get so lucky.
No, they didn't get so lucky. They really didn't get so lucky. In fact, what wound up happening, and this is just such a weird thing. So they had sent in their paperwork, and all right, so part of the paperwork involved is you have to send in addition to your statement of financial interest, you have to send in a copy that's signed of your statement of financial interest to the Department of State saying that you signed it, just so that they have evidence of it. Well, they forgot to do that part, so they faxed it in.
Oh,
the Department of State said, okay, we're gonna accept this. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court, which has 5 of the 7 justices being from the Democratic Party, said, we really don't think that we should accept this. In fact, we're saying that no, this is really a bad precedent that we should accept this. So your candidate is not on the ballot. This is so we're clear. This is non-fatal paperwork errors, meaning that in theory you are able to fix this.
Yeah.
The Pennsylvania Supreme Court said, no, you're not allowed to fix this. You're done. And that's that. So the Green Party was thrown off the ballot. The presidential candidate was thrown off the ballot because somebody before had faxed in and was told by the Department of State that this is cool.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds par for the course. I mean, people like to make the point that the Republicans want to get us off the ballot. Both parties will work to get you off the ballot. They don't think that you should have a right to be able to run for an office because they don't want the competition.
Well,
the votes belong to them.
as you say, both parties. Now, bear in mind, one of our candidates, Liz Terwilliger, up in District 12, managed to get on the ballot, and she wasn't thrown off by the Democrats, but the Republicans decided to challenge her signatures, and they threw her off the ballot. She was 12 signatures short, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever the Democrats didn't win at throwing Libertarians on the ballot, the Republicans did.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the funny thing is that the Democrats were willing to work against us because there was that opinion after 2016 that we cost Hillary the election. And of course, Pennsylvania was a battleground state in that whole thing, that Trump won by a razor thin margin, and this time, the Greens are taken off, and Biden wins the state by a razor thin margin. So, I think it just emboldens them to keep whittling away at the third parties to keep them off the ballot.
Absolutely does. Absolutely does. And it's it's a really crappy situation that we're in.
It is. It is. But you guys got 4 special elections coming up. Can you tell me about those?
Okay, so first things first, 2020, going back to 2020,
yeah,
we got on the ballot, and our statewide candidates managed to achieve at least 2% of the highest vote getter in each of their respective races, right? So Joe Jorgensen got at least 2%. Our candidate Dan Wassmer for Attorney General, he got at least 2%. Our candidate for Treasurer, Joe Solosky, he got at least 2%. Jennifer Moore for for Auditor General, she got the largest number at almost 6%.
Yep.
And actually, I think it was 6%. Anyway, they all managed to get us minor party status. So what minor party status grants us in Pennsylvania is that whenever there is a special election, the Department of State and the counties need to notify the respective affiliates, right? So if a county committee or a county doesn't have a county committee, county affiliate there that's registered, they will notify the state party, us, that there is a special election in that particular county. And it's up to us to find a candidate to run for that particular election. Now, if there is a county affiliate that's registered in that county, then the county will tell the county affiliates. So, fast forward, there are 4 special elections in Pennsylvania. Each of these elections happened, by happenstance in different parts of the state. We have 2 out west. We have 2 relatively east. District 22 and District 48 are on the eastern side, right? So we have this guy Nate up in 22. We have this other guy Tim down in 48, and out in 59 and 60, we have Rob, and we have Andrew. So these 4 guys decided they were going to run for office, and all they had to do, they had to get their paperwork together, and we had to have it in at the appropriate time so that they could, be on the ballot. They didn't have to actually collect any signatures. We had about a week or so to make all this stuff happen.
Jeez.
And there was one point where I had 3 sets of paperwork, one for 22, one for 59, one for 60. And I was dropping them off at our executive director's house so he could drop them off on at the Department of State on that Monday, the day of final turning. And he was there with Timothy McMaster. Timothy McMaster drove up from New York County so he could turn his in person. And no problem with that. Very cool. And I'm just wowed by the effort that everybody put in to make sure that these guys get on the ballot. And even beyond that, all these all these special election candidates are really doing the work for their campaigns. You know, their campaigns have been really truncated, yet they've been going out and doing like appearances, debates, sign waves. They've got stickers, T-shirts, hoodies, whatever it is that they could do to promote their campaigns. They've been doing it, man. And some picking up garbage in towns, and just again, whatever it is they could do to get themselves noticed, to get themselves in a place where they can talk about libertarianism. It's just really awesome. And we're all just really excited about all four of them. And they're coming up just a few days after our convention in May.
Excellent. Excellent. And don't sell yourself short. You did a lot of effort to get those folks on the ballot. How many miles do you put on your car as state chair? And how many traffic laws have you massaged?
Well, we won't talk about that. You know, we'll just talk about the time. Look, I went out to Pittsburgh and grabbed the paperwork from Sam Robb. Sam Robb is our Sam Robb is our Western Vice Chair. He happened to have everybody's paperwork.
Yeah.
So I went to visit with him. I picked up the paperwork from him, and then I drove that out to Kevin. That same day. This was Sunday, and Kevin had gotten his second COVID shot, so he was feeling really under the weather, and he wasn't going anywhere. But I gave him the paperwork. We talked a little bit, and then off I went home. But I gave him the paperwork for 22, for 59, and for 60. Andrew Herrera, Rob Luther, my God, those guys are just kicking ass amazingly. Timothy McMaster, kicking ass.
But let's also point out that you live near Philadelphia, so you drove from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh and then back. With the stop in between too. So
I don't trust FedEx. I don't trust the Postal Service. I just don't. And that could be wrong with me, but at the end,
I don't blame you.
It's what it is. We wanted to make sure that our guys have their stuff in. And Tim's saying thanks, but I'm like, why are you thanking me, Tim? You were there.
Yeah. And thanks for the comments, everybody. Please keep them coming. We'll put them up on as we get them. So
absolutely.
So you got these elections coming up. Those will be coming up fairly soon. So now in Pennsylvania, the state legislature is a full-time state legislature, isn't it?
For the most part, yes. Their hours are a little light, but they are considered full-time.
Ugh. There's nothing worse than a full-time state legislature. That's just a state full of rules and skullduggery and all that asshattery, whatever you want to call it. No good comes from a full-time state legislature.
When you talk to these people, they truly believe everything that they say. I talked to a few of them. Flyers don't suck. I'm sorry, they don't.
Sabres do.
I'm just saying. So when you go out to Harrisburg, you're talking to your state legislature. A lot of these guys and women, they have a certain way of presenting themselves. They have a certain way of. They're very self-assured. And when you talk to them, you have to talk to them not so much in a confrontational sort of way. You have to talk to them in a way that makes them want to work with you. We have guys that are really interested in working like this. William A., for example, put his application in so he could be involved with the redistricting that's going to be going on coming up. And I'm really excited that Roy Monet is going to be doing that, because he is one of those people who is able to reach across barriers and make things happen. And not just because he's a libertarian, but because he understands what it takes to talk to people who don't necessarily believe what we believe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can always find areas of agreement that we can move the ball forward on. Maybe we don't agree economically, maybe we don't agree on issues that go on in the bedroom, but we can find those areas of agreement that we can move the ball forward and make this world a lot more freer than it is now. So that's definitely one of the things I like to highlight is when we find people that can work with people across the board and know how to push those buttons so that we do advance the cause of freedom. So what got you into the libertarian movement?
Say it.
What got you into the libertarian movement?
I'm going to date myself here, but back in the 80s, there was this dude in Philadelphia on the radio by the name of Irv Homer. And he was, even in that time, a lot of people would have considered him a fossil. He was an older guy, and he just laid things out in a way that made me say, this is exactly what I believe. I've listened to people who are on the left, I've listened to people who are on the right, but this sounds more in line with what I'm thinking. And it's not one way or the other. This is something that's completely different. And part of what made me listen to him the most was when he started talking about what was going on with the move situation in Philadelphia. And I don't know how many people here in your audience understand what happened in the mid 80s, but the government wound up bombing an entire city block because they didn't like the way certain people were living their lives in their own houses. Fast forward to now, these houses on that same block are still a complete train wreck, and over $1 million have been spent on each of these houses to rebuild them back to whatever it was the way they were supposed to be. There was just a lot of corruption that went on with all of it, and the idea that you would bomb human beings in the place where they lived is just absurd to me. But
Yeah.
Irv Homer kind of opened my eyes to libertarianism, and he's the reason why I wound up voting for Andre Maru in 1992.
All right.
Yeah. So I've been messing around with libertarianism for a long time.
That's awesome. And yes, if you're out there and you don't know about the move bombing, research it. It's harrowing. Between 1980, what was 86 when that happened?
He was 85.
85, and the U.S. police had not used a bomb against anyone until the Dallas shooting, where the guy was shooting cops. They used a robot device and a bomb to kill him. But yeah, I mean, those are like the two main points in history where the United States government, or at least an agency of the government, used a bomb to kill American citizens. And then, of course, the killing of the al-Awlaki child in Yemen, but that's a different story. So, so you're in your second term as state chair. What were your goals going into the job?
All right. So when I first became chair, there were completely different goals. This was back in 2013. And part of it was just trying to bring everybody back together from where they were. And most people had just decided to leave and do something away from the party. And it wasn't easy trying to bring everybody together, trying to hold everything together. In reality, I was woefully unprepared to be chair in 2013. But I learned a lot in those 2 years, and those lessons carried forward served me well when I got elected again in 2019. This second tenure, I actually had a plan. And the plan was, growing the party, bringing people together, making things actually work that hadn't been working before. So we had membership at 187 people, 187 libertarians.
Mhm.
And part of it was because, we had a website that wasn't working. And that website that wasn't working when I was chair the first time in 2013. I just, it wasn't just me who wanted to fix these problems. It was the whole team that wanted to fix these problems. And the first board meeting that we had that April, we had a nice group of people, but we listened to Ken Molman, our current vice chair national. He was talking about what was going on with, the national version of Civi CRM,
Mhm.
and how we can actually make the websites work. And everybody in that meeting at that particular time, we all agreed that we should try and work towards, national Civi CRM. So we did. And it took a little while, but my God, what happened after we were able to do that was just remarkable. We also hired an executive director. It was the first one we've ever hired in Pennsylvania. Some people talk about, just having executive director is a really great thing. And I disagree with that whole sentiment. It's not just having an executive director. It's having an executive director that is willing to work with you and has the same goals that the board has. Our executive director, Kevin Gaughan, he's been working his ass off. He dropped literally $30,000. He donated of his own money. Now, granted, he gets most of that back, but he dropped that much money. So because he believed in what he was doing, he believed that mailings were going to work. He believed that we were going to increase membership. He believed what we were doing, and I'm grateful for everything that he's done. I'm grateful for all the work that he's put in. I'm grateful for everybody's been putting in. Everybody's been doing this really a remarkable job. But as we've been moving forward, him being there, the website being up, we started increasing membership. Then we added Dan Wassmer as chair of finance. And Dan, he's an attorney, and he's been working with campaign finance for most of his political career. So he started talking to me about what we needed to do paperwork-wise in order to be able to be in compliance when we start collecting some of the money that we're collecting, because, the Republicans and Democrats are going to start coming after us wholesale if we just let this stuff slide like we have been. So, that August, we had an executive session, and it was the first executive session that I've ever seen in my entire life, with the LPPA. And I've been involved with the LPPA for almost 2 decades now. And so just so we're clear, this has been a long, long time, and it was the first executive session that we've been in. And what we agreed to do is we agreed to make sure that everything was good, copacetic, in compliance. And the reason why we wanted to do that was because we were coming up against that wall, that hard wall, where we started having to actually report stuff. And if we weren't doing stuff the way that we need to do stuff, then the Republicans and the Democrats, like I said before, are going to start coming after us wholesale. So Dan got us in compliance. We had a bunch of lawyers at that particular meeting. In fact, most of our legal action committee was in that particular meeting. One of the guys who we hadn't seen in years. Some people have never seen him. In fact, I forget who it was. Somebody once told me, he said, "I didn't know this person actually existed." but he showed up at that particular meeting, and we all came together, and we all got everything set up, and it didn't take much. It took some signing of papers and filing papers, and we sent all this stuff in, and we got everything taken care of, and we started filing reports. We're fortunate. We are really, really fortunate that we had these people come along when they came along, and we had these people on the board when they were on the board. And Dan basically has been instrumental in making sure that all of our affiliates are able to do what they have to do. So I'm just, again, everybody showed up when they needed to show up, and everybody was working when they needed to work. And I'm going to tell you a story, because we're going to fast forward to the next convention, 2020 convention.
Yeah.
There was a point where I was chairing that meeting, and all the attorneys in the room were like looking for a way to escape. They were all kind of disappearing. No, my wife's going to kill me. No, I might be out of state. No, I might be here. I might be there. I can't run for attorney general. And Dan Wasser was standing there saying, I really don't want to do this, but if nobody else is going to do it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And when he said that, I looked at him, and we had almost 100 people, maybe more than 100 people in that room at that time. I said, that is the most outstanding acceptance speech I have ever heard in my entire life. Everybody, what do you think? Dan Wasser, Attorney General? Everybody said, yeah, let's go to lunch.
There we go.
Looking around like, what just happened?
That's awesome. All right. So one of your major successes is the sheer number of libertarians who have been elected to office in Pennsylvania. How many are elected in Pennsylvania right now?
We are, I want to say we're at like 71.
Wow.
I could be wrong about the precise number, but somewhere around there.
So it's like roughly a quarter of the number of elected libertarians in the country are in Pennsylvania.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And so tell us about it. You guys were the beneficiary from Virginia of one Chuck Moulton. Tell us about maneuver.
All right. So first off, Chuck Moulton is a native Pennsylvanian. He came from Montgomery County, and he wandered to Virginia for a little bit.
Got his doctorate.
He wandered back. Now, we call this the Moulton. I started calling it the Moulton maneuver, and everybody was looking at me like, "You're an asshole for saying that." But what else are you going to call it? So, Dr. Chuck Moulton had been talking about, look, we can do this, and he's been talking about it for decades. And everybody, whenever he brought this subject up, everybody was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I'm not excluding myself in this. I'm probably one of the primary offenders of this. Yeah, whatever. But one of our Eastern Vice Chair, Jennifer Moore, listened to what he had to say and said, we can make this actually really work. And she picked up that ball that he had, and started running with it. In addition to donating her own money to the project, she recruited other people. She recruited Wes Benedict from National. She recruited me. She just posted a picture of us in my kitchen stuffing envelopes. And it was just, wow, man. When I look back on that day, when I look back and think about 2019 and what was accomplished, it's like, we're really actually going to do something with this. And it just never really occurred to me. Now, Chuck is brilliant. he's one of those people who is you give him something and he will find you an answer no matter what.
Yeah.
He didn't get a PhD for nothing. He really is brilliant, and he was not expecting what happened in 2019. Nobody was expecting what happened in 2019. But now that part of what happened, just the sheer volume of calls that came back. So we sent out this letter that said, so there's nobody running for this particular position in your district. If you get your signatures and you get on the ballot, you will most likely win. And then in this letter, he writes, "This is not a joke." David, I can't tell you how many times I got an email to me saying, "Is this a joke?"
A joke?
No, it's not a joke, man. Really, I will win this. And it's not like it's foolproof, because nothing's foolproof. If you get on the ballot, you will most likely win, but that doesn't mean that's the only thing you do. You still have to campaign. You still have to make sure that things, because the Republicans and Democrats, they don't want third parties
No.
out of the office. They are going to work against you, and they demonstrated that. They demonstrated that in 2019. They're going to demonstrate that in 2021. We're working on this again, and we really want to see this happen again.
Yeah.
We won more elections in 2019 than the rest of the nation combined. And, part of that has to do with what we're able to do in Pennsylvania versus other places. But part of that has to do with just the sheer, just pushing forward and trying to make things happen.
Yeah. And the funny thing about that is that, I've lived in quite a few places, Georgia, and, now West Virginia, New Mexico, St. Louis. Every election I've participated in before, learning about the Molten Maneuver, I've seen offices that did not have somebody running for it. Whether it was like, here in West Virginia, actually, I saw one. It was no one even knew it was a damn office, but it was like county surveyor. Nobody ran for it. I don't even know if they fill it. I don't even know what they do if no one runs for the office. Do they have like does the county commission fill the position, or does it just stay vacant?
Yes, they will appoint someone.
Yeah. So
take Jennifer, for example. Jennifer ran for auditor in her township. And this was a non-contested position, right?
Yeah.
So she actually called the county board of elections. Actually, one of our other guys in Montgomery County called the county board of elections, and the county board of elections told him that she needed 10 signatures. So she got 15 or 17. I forget what the number was, but it was well more than 10.
Yeah.
And it was from our neighbors, and she turned them in. They accepted them. Then she was challenged because Republicans, they said, well, actually, you need 2% of the highest vote getter, which is actually 46. You didn't get enough, so therefore you shouldn't be on the ballot. So we were like, wait a minute. And we actually got an attorney, Larry Otter, to help us. And we went to court. And the guy who challenged is a Republican. The auditor of the township actually set his salary, but he was the one who challenged the auditor because he wanted to appoint an auditor.
Yeah.
For that position. Fortunately, we won the case. Jennifer won the position, and at the end of it all, he's now up for re-election, and I think those things are going to come back and bite him in the ass now that he's running for re-election.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So is there a plan to now, That's the big thing is building a bench for the Libertarian Party. Now you guys have one. Is there now a plan to start moving towards higher offices, or are you going to just kind of build more on the lower levels for now and then move up?
All right, so we're running higher offices anyway because you know.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm talking about like state senate, state house, just I mean normal elections, just specials.
well, not even that. Like U.S. Senate, governor, for example. In 2022, we have to run these races because when we run these races, or sorry, if we do not run these races, we do not maintain minor party status. And if we don't maintain minor party status, we become a political body. Becoming a political body actually screws us in a big, huge way for several reasons. One, we aren't told that there are special elections going on. We're going to actually have to collect signatures to be able to be a candidate in those special elections.
Yeah.
And if, say, a Republican decides they want to run, they collect a bunch of signatures and they get on the ballot, they say, okay, I'm a Libertarian candidate. There's nothing we can do about that. As a minority party, we can tell them, actually, you are not the candidate. We have a candidate over here.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Okay.
So we need to have minor party status, and that's what running those particular offices, those statewide positions, gives us in those intermediary years. Now, as far as running for and winning higher offices, besides like township supervisor, mayor, auditor, those sorts of things, we believe that the bench that we're building is going to enable us to win those seats coming up in the coming years. Maybe not next term, but maybe soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're, as we mentioned before, you're coming down to the last couple of weeks to your stewardship of the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania. You're leaving office on a very high note as far as the performance of the party. Do you have somebody that you would like to see take the reins in your stead?
So right now, our current Eastern Vice Chair, Jennifer Moore, is running for chair. And she has my heartfelt endorsement because she's been with us and working with the team for the entire tenure of my position. We were working together. Everybody who is currently running, Sam Robb, Adam Reinhardt for Eastern Vice Chair, our current Central Vice Chair, even though, many people don't really get to know our Central Vice Chair that much, but, he's just a really amazing dude. And, Dr. Bill Sloan is one of those people. I met him in 2013, and his counsel has never been far from me for almost a decade. So him being on the board is something that I would really hope that our delegates choose.
Yeah.
Because he is that elder statesman. He has so much knowledge.
Institutional knowledge. Yeah.
Exactly. Adam is a great dude. He's been learning from me. He's been learning from Jennifer. He's been working to help create these county committees and grow these county committees. He's been doing an awful lot behind the scenes. He's our current chair of membership, and everything that he's been doing has been just putting him into a position to be in this particular role. So I would really, really be excited to see him in that role. Sam Robb out in the West. Oh my God, what he has been doing has been nothing short of miraculous. So when I first met him in person was out at the California convention last year. And I was out there speaking about the Molten Maneuver in 2019 and the success of Pennsylvania. And, I met Sam Robb, and the first words out of my mouth when I'm shaking his hand, I really want you to become Western Vice Chair at some point if you're able to. He's running for president of the United States. I want you to become Western Vice Chair. I started putting that thought in his head even back then, and he's like, I'm sure he was thinking, who is this crazy person, And he wouldn't be wrong if that was what was going through his head. I admit that. But Sam, when he came on board, he started working and he started developing counties out west. And we have, my God, we have seen a lot of action out west. And part of it has to do with his role as campaign coordinator for the Joe Jorgensen campaign in 2020. The people he met that were, that had done what they've done, that volunteered, that helped us with petitioning, that helped us with everything, the whole campaign. He met these people. We were on a lot of conference calls together. We were in a lot of Zoom calls together. And my God, he's just an awesome dude. And I hope to God the delegates choose him as Western Vice Chair. He's donated money to the party. He's donated time to the party. He's just working his ass off, and I appreciate him more than you can possibly imagine. So these are. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I left out somebody. So Bonnie Flaherty, she's running for secretary. I can't drop her because, well, she is the chair of my Senate campaign.
Oh,
yeah, But but here's the thing about Bonnie. So when I first met Bonnie, she had put together this list of people who wanted to sign petitions. And we were getting these messages. Yeah, I'd like to sign your petition. Well, where are you? I'm in Cameron County. Where's that? And don't get me wrong, I know where it is, but I'm being facetious. But at the end of the day, she put people together with these people who are out literally in the middle of nowhere. And she put volunteers together with people who wanted to sign petition forms, and
That's
she
awesome.
figured out a way to make this work. And so she's just really amazing.
I'm going to stop you here because I want to talk a little bit before our remaining few minutes. You just mentioned that you are running for U.S. Senate.
I am.
And let's talk about your run. So, what are your campaign priorities for this run?
Okay, so when I spoke, I spoke with Joe Jorgensen, a number of times, and her main priority was to grow the party, strengthen the party. Above all else, this is what she wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I've been working with the party for a long, long time, and I've been trying to bring people to the party. I've been trying to be more of a unifying force. What I believe, I'm more of an anarcho-capitalist, yet I understand that there are things that we have to do and things that we need to do as stewards who are moving forward to try and govern. And many libertarians have different views on things, but there aren't that many of us out there, and we all need to work together if we want to move forward.
Yes.
So I've been working with people who don't necessarily believe the same things that I believe philosophically, because for the most part, we do believe on most of those things.
Yes.
So let's work on those things that we can agree with for the most part. And in that regard, I have a lot of friends all around the states who have different ideas as to the way forward, and yet they're working with me and they are supporting me and they're supporting the party. So who am I to do anything different? I want to support them as well. Turkey bacon is fine for other people, Tim. I want pork bacon myself personally.
Yes.
So as we go forward in this campaign, I've been driving around the state a lot lately, and I plan on continuing driving around the state a lot, and you know, what I want to do is I want to help our down ballot candidates. You know, people who are running for state senate, people who are running for state representative, wherever they're having campaign events, I want to be there and help them. I want to work with whoever the gubernatorial candidate, the lieutenant gubernatorial candidate, whoever they are. You know, I have my hopes and dreams as to who they are. I'm hoping Joe Solosky wins the nomination for governor. And I really like Nicole Schultz. I also really like John Waldenberger. For lieutenant governor, whoever wins those nominations, and I want to work with them. I want to promote them. I want to coordinate with them. You know, we're all in this together. And the idea is that we need to maintain ballot status. We need to maintain party status. We need to maintain who we are, and we need to strengthen the party and bring people to the party. The best way we can do that is by promoting libertarianism, promoting libertarian candidates, and doing what we can to make things happen all around the state. So that's my goal.
We're all a team. Yeah, we're all a team. Well, so do you have any idea who your opponents are going to be in this race? You know, on the D's and R's.
Well, I know our lieutenant governor, our current lieutenant governor, has said that he is considering running, but you know, who knows? At the end of it, there's a lot of people who are saying they really want to, but you know, at the end of the day, the Republican primary and the Democratic primary, they're difficult challenges for them. You know, and you know, when you're a major party, you have to collect, you know, so many signatures to appear in the primary. But once you achieve that nomination, you don't have to collect any signatures. You know? Libertarians, on the other hand, we get the nomination and we have to collect thousands of signatures to get on the ballot. There's something not quite right about that.
No, not at all. Not at all. Ballot access signatures are a bane on the political existence of our country. But one more question. Well, actually, a couple more things. You like me, you served as Region 5 alternate. Tell me, how did you like that?
Say that.
You were a Region 5 alternate to the LNC, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
Like me. Yes. Did you have fun with that?
You know, the meetings are awesome. You know, I really do enjoy working with the people on the LNC, and you know, the one trip, the last trip that I took for an LNC meeting was out to Denver. This was in 2018.
Yeah.
You know, just being there in Denver was really, really cool. Being there with those people was really, really cool. You know, Denver itself, I flew in and it was, you know, cold and dark and whatever. You know, get to the hotel. Next morning, there is this pile of snow outside. You know, it's like 6 to 8 inches deep. And I'm like, what in the world just happened overnight? You know, but then as we're there in that meeting, you know, the sun comes out.
Yep. All
the snow, and it's completely gone by the time I'm ready to go to lunch. You know,
that's like out west, man. Yeah, that's like out west. It'll melt in no time. Well, we are at the end of our time. I want to thank you so much for joining us this evening. Best of luck. What is your website for the Senate run?
Scheetzforsenate.com.
Okay. And then, of course, your convention is in 2 weeks in Pittsburgh at the Hotel Indigo. What, the 14th, 15th, and 16th?
It is.
All right. Well, I will be there. I hope to see everyone there that can get to there.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know why you're having me speak the last day, but that's, you know. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us on the Political Deep Dive. We'll talk to everyone next week. We're doing the after hour or after dark show. If you want to join us, Stevie, you're welcome to join us as well on the after dark show if you got some time. But if not, we understand. But we'll talk to everyone next week. Next week, we're talking to James Ray about thorium. Be interesting. All right. Thanks, everyone, and we will talk to everyone next week. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Political Deep Dive. We air every Sunday night at 8 p.m. You can follow us on Facebook.com/The Political Deep Dive, all one word, on Twitter.com/Political Deep, on YouTube.com/Papaduke, PAPADUKE, and on Twitch.tv/The Political Deep Dive, all one word. On Monday, the audio of the previous night's episode is found on SoundCloud.com/The Political Deep Dive, all one word. And you can join in on the fun on Instagram.com/The Political Deep Dive, all one word. Thanks to People for Liberty for their continued support at people4liberty.org and on Facebook.com/people4liberty Inc. Give us a like and a share on whatever platform you are viewing us from. It helps us out, and we certainly appreciate the support. We look forward to seeing you Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern.